So spring break week for us is a pretty busy time. There's a lot of things that need to get done. A lot of things we need to catch up on this winter. Some limbs that were down, some trees that were down because of some storms. So we're going to work on getting those cleaned up and just doing an overall cleaning of the homestead. On top of all of those things, there's a lot of other things that we need to get done. The chickens are in the garden. And so the chickens are going to have to move out of the garden so that we can start to prepare the garden for spring. So this week, the little California tans are going to be coming out in our grow out pen. It'll be on the grass. The chickens will be moving from the garden spot to right about here in front of my workshop. So we'll be moving the big chickens up a little bit, getting the garden ready to get tilled up. A lot of things going on this week. A lot of things that need to get done. And yes, this is a vacation week for us, but it's going to be a very busy week. Hopefully that means there'll be a lot of content that I can record and be able to show you. Good morning, everybody. If it's morning where you are, good morning. Good afternoon, good evening. So I thought I'd bring you along as I did the morning chores, doing them a little bit late. It's about 7:30 in the morning. Let's get these animals fed. I just realized I left the kitchen scraps inside. We save a lot of our table scraps and kitchen scraps for our chickens. We've got some strawberry tops, some potato skins, some lettuce trimming, vegetable trimmings, and a little bit of popcorn that I didn't finish off last night. Chickens are gonna love this. What the chickens don't eat, trust me, they're gonna eat it all. Whatever they don't eat will just break down and be fertilizer for the garden. Let's get the goats fed. So these are our goats. Right over here, going around the back is Coco. She is a Kiko goat, tricolor, my favorite. I love her coloration. There also on the back side, the other big goat is Daisy. And then here in front, growing very, very fast, is little Buttercup. Buttercup is Coco's kid. We only had only one of our goats wound up being pregnant this year, and Coco only had one baby. We did get rid of our buck, Rudy, and the reason for that is we want to kind of change up, and we want to put some, add some boar bloodline in this, so we're looking for a boar buck goat, male goat. And Buttercup is female, so if we get a new boar, he'll be able to breed all three of these. But these are our Kiko goats, and they are healthy, and the little one is growing really, really fast. Time to put the wagon away and feed the littles. Well, I see we had a little accident last night. We knocked over our feeder, dumped all the feed out. Fresh water going in for the littles. These are California tan pullets. Pullets are young female chickens. They will become hens one day, and they will lay eggs for the homestead. We had 10 California tans. Didn't know a whole lot about these when we bought them. It pretty much was the only option available to us at the time. But did a little research, found out that California tans are a hybrid breed of a white leghorn, sorry, my southern accent. It's a leghorn to me. A white leghorn, and I believe it's called a production red. It's a cross between a white leghorn and a production red. And I didn't know what a production red was, so I looked that up. That is a cross between a Rhode Island red and I believe a New Hampshire. Correct me if I'm wrong. But I do know that the white leghorns are prolific egg layers. They'll lay over 300 eggs a year. And so these are supposed to be a little bit less flighty, a little bit better for the homestead. So they're getting really big. Got these all fed. Fresh water. Their bedding is still fresh. I just changed it the other day. All animals are fed. But I do have one more thing to show you. I wanted to give you a quick update on the incubator situation. We have chicks that are due to hatch. I thought originally they were due to hatch today. They actually have one more day. Actually, I think about 12 hours. So probably some of them are maybe hatching tonight. We're probably more than likely, most of them will be hatching tomorrow morning. But we have a few that are just starting to break out of their shell. So here they are. So we have just 12 eggs here. We counted at least 2 that are starting to pip. You can see right there, and you can actually hear a little bit. That one has just started to pip. Pip is a term that means they're cracking through the shell. Also, this one, I believe, yes, this one has started to pip. You see, it's just starting to break through the shell. I believe those are the only 2 so far that I have seen that are starting to pip. But if you listen real closely, several of them are kind of chirping. I know it's hard to hear over the fan from the incubator, but they're chirping. No matter how many times I've done this, I still get excited when I hear that little chirp. Hello everybody, welcome back to the homestead. Today I want to show you how you can set up a very inexpensive chick brooder with something as simple as this plastic bin. Let's get started. We're going to start off by putting a couple of inches of bedding down. We're using pine shavings. This is a little larger size. I believe it's called flake. It's a little larger, and we find that it does a little bit better. One thing I haven't found is a way to put it down without making a mess. Once you add your bedding down and you spread it out, you want about 1 inch or so thick. Once you have that, you just need a couple of other things. First of all, you're going to need a drinker and a feeder. This is a chick feeder. And so we're going to go ahead and set these up. One thing we've always done is we add electrolytes to the water. You can buy a special mix at your farm supply store. We just simply mix up about 1 gallon of water and at a time, and we just fill up our drinkers with some electrolyte mix. Gives the chicks a little bit of a head start. All right, so we got our drinker full of water. We're just going to quickly turn that over and set that in one corner. Then we have our feeder that we're going to add feed to. What you want to use is a chick starter. There's 2 options. You can either get medicated or unmedicated. The choice is yours. Do your own research. We have used both. This year we're using medicated. But we're just going to put a little feed in here and set this in place. I want you to notice I don't fill this feeder all the way up. Chicks are messy little creatures and they will get shavings all in this. So I usually just have enough to keep the bowl full. And we're just going to set that in there right beside the waterer. The only other thing that you really need is a heat source. We are going to be using our Producer's Pride Brooder heater, or it's also can be a Coop heater. This can be set up in many different ways. It can go like this, and the chickens can go underneath it. You can be set up on its side. It can be set up on its side. Chickens can come up next to it. This is the part that gets warm here. I had this plugged in, and it's already starting to get warm. And since we're using this small little box and our heater is a little bit overkill, we're just going to slide it in like so. I know what you're thinking. That kind of looks stupid. Is it going to work? Yeah, it'll work. It'll work great. Chicks will be able to get in there and keep them. We've got it set on the highest setting. Switching it over now to the highest setting. And chicks will be able to stay warm there. I wish this box was just a little bit bigger so we could lay the heater down flat. So we only have 3 chicks going in here today. We had a little bit of disaster with this incubation. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But I'm going to this is set up right now. This is all you need. Now, if you don't have a brooder heater like this, you can use a heat lamp. I don't recommend heat lamps. They're dangerous. A lot of barns get burned down with heat lamps. But you can use a clamp-on light with a heat lamp bulb. If you're going to go that route, I would really recommend that you look on Amazon and find a reptile heater bulb that screws into that lamp socket. It's not quite as much of a fire hazard as just that standard heat lamp bulb is. But we use this heater because, number one, peace of mind. Normally, we are incubating quite a few more chicks than this. But normally, we use our larger brooder box with this heater. But as you know, we've got 10 pullets in our big brooder box that are getting ready to come out. So this is kind of a temporary setup right now that we're going to be using for the ones that we hatched out today. And so we're going to let this warm up. We're going to bring the chicks out. We'll talk about how this round of incubating worked out. Spoiler alert, not too good. All right, so we've got our chicks. I saved this box from when we bought our chicks from the farm store, and just went in and got the chicks out of the incubator. We had one hatch. We had 2 hatched yesterday. 1 hatched last night, but we only had 3 chicks. But we only had 3 chicks out of 12 to hatch. Now that is bad. That is very, very low. Don't really know exactly what happened. But that is really low for only 3 of those to hatch. Now, today was the day that the timer actually ran out. So we're going to leave the incubator on with the other eggs for the rest of the day. And maybe until in the morning, just in case. But we're a little disappointed. We only got 3 chicks out of 12. That's very low. Yeah, sometimes that can happen. Sometimes disaster strikes. Sometimes you don't get a good hatch rate. Now, there might be some good reasons for that. I'll talk about some of those reasons. One reason is these are very young hens. These hens just started laying about a month ago. So these are young hens. So that could have a lot to do with it. Another thing it could be is that we did have some dirty eggs that we incubated. I've recently learned that you shouldn't incubate dirty eggs. We incubated some dirty eggs. One of the dirty eggs hatched. So I'm not sure. Maybe that had something to do with it. A combination of that. Maybe the young hens, the young rooster. Not really sure. But it's not looking too good. We only got 3 out of 12. Now, as you know, we've got another incubator that's about 10 days behind. We also are running an experiment about humidity and to see how important humidity is when you incubate. A lot of people say you don't need humidity. Some people say you only need humidity when they're hatching. So we conducted an experiment, and with this batch, we kept the humidity as we've always done it, kept the humidity around 50-55%. The other batch that is about 10 days behind, we have not worried about the humidity whatsoever. We've not added water or anything. So we're going to see what happens. But this batch, the control, I guess you can say, didn't work out too good. So not sure what happened. But it just goes to show you, sometimes these things happen. I've always said you're never going to get a perfect hatch. In this case, we got probably close to the furthest thing from the perfect hatch. But anyway, this incubator has been warming up, and she's warm to the touch there. So these little chicks are ready to go into the little brooder. So let me show you what we got here. These are barnyard mix. These are, in other words, I guess you could say these are mutts. These guys, one hatched last night, two hatched yesterday. But pretty active little chicks, pretty noisy. Not very happy. I'm sure my hands are probably cold. But these are barnyard mix, straight run. So some of them are roosters, some of them are hens, or we hope some of them are females. But that's it. This one's got some feathers on his feet. Means it's got some, I forget what breed that comes from. But anyway, so let me show you what I do when I'm adding chicks to the brooder. And this is a step that we've always done. And what I do is I take the chick and I dip the beak in the water. So I've got my water, I've got my drinker over here, and it's got water in it. I'm just going to take it just for a brief second, dip the chick's beak into the water, that give them their first little drink of water, and that will let them know that the big red bowl is where they go to get their water. So I'm going to take them out one at a time, dip his little beak, put him right by the heater. Right by the little heater. All right, number two. Number two does not have feathers on his feet, or her feet. But they're pretty little chickens. They're just barnyard mix. Got a little pale, got a black with a little white coloration on the wingtips. And one of them has a yellow belly. I'm not sure. Maybe the one I just put in there. Yeah, I think the one I just put in there has a yellow belly. So, this one has a little more yellow in his belly, where this one's more white. Okay, I'm putting you next to the heater. All right. But very active, very chirpy, very noisy. And he's trying to climb out of my hand right now, or she is trying to climb out of my hand. So I'm going to dip this one, dip the beak in there. Put it up next to the heater. And then number three. Ooh, number three is rambunctious. Oh, looky here. This one is probably the oldest one, I believe. This one's got feathers on his feet. Pretty little bird. This one's got a little yellow under his chin there. He's not real happy with me. He's probably cold in the water. There we go. Put him up next to the heater. And that's all there is to it. Basically, you just need a box, a drinker, a water, and a heat source. And as you can see, they are right on that little heater. And that heater is warm. Ooh, sorry guys, warm to the touch. But that'll keep them warm, and we won't have to worry about risk of fire. Because it is made, this heater is made to stand up like this, or to be set down on the legs. These legs are totally adjustable. Could be worse. We could have got 0 hatched, but we got 3. So you might be thinking, why don't we just put these chicks in with our other chicks, our California tans? Well, the California tans are juvenile now. They're feathered out. They're much older. They would really gang up on these little guys. So we will make sure we don't put them together. In 10 days, when the other batches do, they're close enough in age that we'll put them in the same brooder. We don't want to put these babies in with those teenagers, because it just won't go well. Teenagers, the California tans are going to be moving out today. I've got to do a few things to get the grow out pen ready. They have been here in my workshop with no heat for, I think this is the 3rd or 4th day. So we've been hardening them off. So they're more than likely going to go out today. So I'm going to go out here and I'm going to get the grow out pen. I'm going to move it up, do a little work on it, get it ready for the next batch of birds. Time to put the grow out pen back into action. Do not need to put this roosting pole back in. It's a little too big for these chickens, but got to put a new piece of rope on the front, be able to pull it. Just going to make sure that all the roofing is still good. All the siding is still good. No gaps in the wires. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to tip it over on the side so that I can try to get this roosting pole back in here. gonna run this inside the shop and cut it off and be back to put it in place. All right, I got the roosting pole cut. Let's see how it's gonna fit. While I've got it here, I'm gonna go ahead and put the new piece of rope on. Just gonna take this in and we'll make a square knot. I'm gonna flip it around to the other side. And I'm gonna put another screw over there and we're gonna finish tying off this knot. Now we just need to fasten this rope to the other side here. We usually get about a year out of a piece of rope. I'm just going to melt the end. I'm just going to melt the ends off on the rope. All right, now we can let her down. The way this is set up, they have a covered area in the back they can get out. They're protected from the wind. Of course, we have the roof over the top. So I'm going to go find a waterer and a feeder for them. And then the next step is going to be getting those California tans into their new home. All right, so we found a waterer. Now it's time to get that in here. Get them some feed. And it'll be time to get them in their new home. All right, so we got a feeder. Probably my least favorite feeder that we own. It's one of these clamshell type. Not a huge fan of these, but it'll do. You gonna put it in there or you want me to?
They'll probably dump it over.
Probably within the first few minutes. Yep, I got soaking wet. all that water. They're getting some colors on their tail.
A little bit of orange, looks like.
Yeah, a little bit of black on their tail.
Where you go?
Gonna dip the beak in the water. 2. 4.
This one's a loud little joker.
5. 6.
'Did you see that?
Fly.
Yeah.
7.
This one's very calm.
8. 9. And 10.
They look so tiny in there.
They do.
Welcome to the yard.
They don't know what to think with all this room. They got all that good grass. All that room to roam. They'll be up on that roosting pole.
Now you think? Or
Well, it won't be long. They can fly up there.
Oh, one of them sitting down. They're sitting on her. There we go. I was going to try to set one up there.
They're flocking. They're sticking
Yeah,
together.
They are.
Good deal. Looking healthy.
One of them's already picking at the grass.
Good deal. See there, they know what to do. They know exactly what to do.
Yeah, she's pecking at it back there.
That's why that's why it's so good for your chickens to have access to fresh grass. It's good for them. They know what to do.
What is it you call it? The salad bar?
Yep, fresh salad bar every day. These will get a fresh salad bar. We probably won't move them every day because there's a whole lot of room and they're small. But they'll get fresh salad bar.
Well, this will be plenty for them.
Oh yeah, for a few days.
Listen how quiet they are.
Well, that's moving day for these teenagers. They're looking great. They look happy. They're already picking around at the grass. All right, so it's later in the afternoon. Chicks have been out in the grow-out pen most of the day. And you can almost see them from here. They're moving around a little bit. They're pretty skittish. Well, everybody's doing good. Good morning, everybody. I hope you're having a great day. It's morning here on the farm. It's moving day for our big chickens. We're getting ready to take down our Premier One poultry netting right here. And before we do that, we're gonna get a tripod set up so you can see how simple this Premier One netting is to set up and take down. So I'm gonna get you set up with a tripod, and we're gonna get started getting the move because it's kind of chilly this morning. So we got the netting up. Now we're gonna get the water and feeders and everything out of the way, and we're gonna back the truck in here, and we're gonna move the coop up. All right, so we got the eggmobile moved. Originally we were gonna try to put them right here, but it's just not gonna work out. It's not gonna be enough room. So Hank's plans, they're going back here. Now we got it set up. Now we just need to do a little tweaking and get everything kind of tight and put our 4 corner posts down. That way we can pull a little bit of tension on there and get it looking good. All right, so these corner posts that came with our Premier, they're meant to run beside the corner post to kind of give it a little more sturdiness. But what I like to do is kind of stake it out, almost use it kind of like a stake, and so I just put mine in an angle, and I just wrap it around the corner fence and just pull tight like so, and then give it a couple half hitches. I'm just gonna do that to all 4 corners. All right, I'm fixed to put the T-post in to mount the electric fence. Michelle is putting in our little solar spotlights. We put these out to kind of deter predators. So we just kind of put them around the perimeter.
They're not really expensive. We got them at the dollar store for about $3 a piece.
Yeah, about $3 a piece.
If they break or mess up, we can always get more.
So I'm gonna put this T-post in to hold our fence charger and fence energizer. Be ready to let them out. The ground is so soft, it just about drive it by hand. I'm not going to drive it super deep because it'll need to be removable. Just gonna drive it down enough where it'll stay put. So this is our T-handle grounding rod that we bought from Premier One Supply when we bought our netting. I absolutely love this thing. Very easy to take in and put down. You're just gonna put it down in the ground. All right, next step is to mount our charger box. All right, there's our fence charger. We're using an old Zerba. I don't know how you pronounce it. We've had it for many years. Had it back when we had pigs. This is overkill. This is a 20-mile charger. It's overkill, but we've got it, so we're going to use it. So the next step is to connect our charger to our fence, and we do that with these two jumpers. Fence is unplugged. First one, we're going to attach these two little clips together. We're going to plug that right in there, and then this goes to the positive side of the charger. And then I've got another one. Mine is not green. I guess if you're gonna be bright, it should be green for ground, but you just plug this on to the ground connector, and I just clip it right on there.
I can move it when I know, but that won't be no problem.
All right, so I can hear it ticking, which means it's working. Normally I would pull out my fence tester and test the fence, see how much charge, but I just realized I don't have it right now, so we're gonna skip that step, and everything seems to be working. I'm gonna unplug this, and then we're gonna go in and let the chickens out, put their feed and water in, and let them get acclimated to their new space. All right, so I'm gonna reprogram this because we took the batteries out. So, and this is just a cheap Amazon special. I'll put the link in the video. We're gonna set the time. The time is 9:04. 9:04. We want it to open at 6:30. And we want it to close. We want it to close at let's say 7, which is military time, so that would be 1900 hours. All right, 1900 it close. Manually lift the door, and they can come out. Rough ride, guys. How'd you like that ride? Not too much fun? Everybody's ready to get out, explore. Oh yeah, everybody's out looking around. Nice green grass. All right, so we got the chickens moved. We also moved the littles over here. They're doing really, really good. They did get on the roosting pole. We noticed come out here yesterday close to evening, and they were up there. Most of them are up there on the roosting pole. But they're eating, drinking, doing good. Looking good. Ready Start out with these grand plans and everything is good, and then I get impatient and it gets messy. Oh, everybody, welcome back to the homestead. So today's Thursday. It's kind of been a running errand kind of day. We went to town today and actually picked up some onion sets. They caught my eye. Thought we would put those in today. I'm getting the itch to get the garden started, so this is a quick and easy way I can do it. So this is my raised bed. So last year I raised some lettuce, some radishes, few odd and end things like that. And this spring, I'm going to use it for growing some spring onions. Right now, I've got a lot of weeds in here that I'm going to have to pull out. This little raised bed on wheels, it could be set up a few different ways. You can set it up as one big giant bed, or you can have it set up the way I do with dividers. So it's divided the bed up into 12 little spaces. Did have a little surprise here that did not know about. Last year, I'm a sucker for a deal, and so last year, later on in the season, there was a clearance sale at a local nursery, and they had some June-bearing strawberry plants on clearance for almost nothing, and I could not pass it up, even though it was way past time for that kind of thing. So I planted them anyway just to see what would happen. I think I paid 50 cents for the whole pack. Well, nothing happened, but the other day we was out here looking at this, and I noticed we've got strawberry plants. So we're gonna leave 2 of these for our strawberry plants, and we're gonna sow the rest of these as spring onions. I'm gonna top the rest of this bed off with some more soil. All right, so we got 2 varieties of onions. I picked out a pack of super sweets. Here, so I've got about, I don't know how many that is, I'm guessing about 50. And then my wife picked out these that are called just red onion. So we're gonna try. I've never had red spring onions, so we're gonna try these. And these are gonna be spring onions. We may save a few to see if they'll make some big bulbs, but I really enjoy eating spring onions. So I'm gonna plant about 6. I'm gonna try to get about 6 of these in each little compartment. And I'm probably going to have a whole lot left over. Did I get that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think I can do 8. I'm not an onion expert. We've grown onions a few times, but I'm not experts. Take what I say with a grain of sand. We call these, I think spring onion is like the proper terminology. We just call them green onions. I've got to find this wasp nest because this is the second time I've been out here today and been accosted by old Mr. Red Wasp. They are out in droves here today. I know they're just trying to protect their home. I get it, but at the same time, I really can't have them threatening to sting me every time I come outside. So we may have to have a moving day for Mr. Wasp there. I don't know about y'all, but we've been getting, the last few years, we got these, they call them mahogany, I think is what, they're big, giant, super red wasps. And I can tell you from experience, when they sting you, they hurt. And they hurt for a while. So like I said, I'm not an expert in growing onions. Some of you have some tips and tricks for me. I'd love to hear about them because, you know, I'm not an expert by any stretch of the imagination. Every summer, when we start getting produce from the garden, start to get a little bit of a harvest, which is usually around the middle of June, maybe a little before. We usually try to have a meal, and we try to have a meal that's totally 100% out of the garden. We'll fry up some green tomatoes. We don't eat a whole lot of fried green tomatoes, but you know what? Every once in a while in the summertime, you gotta live a little. So we'll fry up some green tomatoes, have some spring onions, make a salad, make a cucumber salad, that kind of thing, and just kind of enjoy the fruits of our labor. A couple more stragglers here to try to fit in. Fit a few more over here. We'll have to thin some of these out as they get a little bigger. All right, now I've got all those. I'm gonna plant these red onions that my wife picked out. What's your favorite onion? My favorite onion is Vidalia. I love Vidalia onions. Now, my understanding of Vidalia onions, to be called a Vidalia onion, I believe that it has to be grown in the county around Vidalia, Georgia. That is my favorite, is a good Vidalia onion. Spring break is slowly eluding our grass. As much as we'd like for it to slow down, it keeps on moving forward. It's Thursday afternoon and it'll be all over with here in a couple of days. Something about having your fingers in dirt makes you happy. It's hard to plant something like this and not have a good feeling in your heart. I grew up in a family of gardeners. My dad was a big gardener, still is. My grandparents, great-grandparents. So it's kind of in our blood. Michelle's too. Michelle's grandfather was a tomato farmer. He farmed tomatoes in a town called Ripley, Tennessee. What do they call that? What's it, Ripley? When they had the big tomato thing. What is it called? The home of the Ripley tomato?
Tomato Festival.
Tomato Festival. I'm planting your red onions. It's a lot of them. But he was a tomato farmer. He raised acres and acres and acres of tomatoes.
He did that when he retired.
Oh, did he?
When he come back from the war, he was a school bus driver like other people in his family did before him. So I guess it kind of ran in the family. Drove a school bus, and then when he retired, he did tomato farming full time.
Spent a lot of your summers working on the tomato.
Since I was about 8 years old.
What was that like?
Busy. All I did was, I didn't get to help pick them when I was that young because he didn't want me breaking the plants. Or he was afraid we'd pick them too green. Basically, all I did was help clean the tomatoes off if they were real dirty, because they had a packing shed. My grandmother and my mother would separate out the tomatoes the way he wanted them. Basically, all I did was just clean them when I was that young.
Clean and pack?
I didn't pack.
Oh, you didn't pack?
I cleaned and put them in another basket, and all they had to do was put them in the boxes. See, he would go to the farmer's market and sell them.
So I started this off in nice, pretty little rows.
So you
But then as it's moving this way, it's getting a little more sloppy.
I see.
All right, well, like I said, over here, nice and neat. The rest of it is kind of messy. I start out with these grand plans and everything is good, and then I get impatient and it gets messy. So I'm gonna give these a little bit of water and let them grow. And with 12 little individual compartments, you could grow a lot of vegetables in these. Like I said, we grew peppers last year. You know, you could probably grow tomatoes as long as you had something to support them. You can produce a lot of food in something as simple and as small as this. As simple as that. The onion sets are out. They're not perfect. They're good from far from good. They're not perfect, but it'll grow. They're a little crowded, but hey, it is what it is, right? I get impatient. But I'm pleased. We have onion sets. chick, 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 chick. Here, chick, 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 chick. Well guys, that wraps it up for the morning. All the animals are fed. Spring break is just about over. It's Friday morning, late morning. We've gotten a lot accomplished this week. Guys, thank you so much for watching today. And if you've been following us along all week as we are working through our spring break, getting the homestead ready for spring. By the time this video is aired, spring break will have been over and we'll have 5 episodes in the books published on YouTube. So you can go back and watch all 5 episodes. We're going to add them into a playlist, and we're also working on adding them into one big long form video so you can watch all of them all together. I hope you saw something that inspires you to do some homesteading of your own. Have a great day, and I'll see you on the next one. Lord willing, and the creek don't rise.